So we'll come to the second lecture, and actually the first one in terms of coding in the geocomputation domain. As I mentioned, I will teaching all the geocomputation part that is going to be mainly focus on Bash coding. Rather later on, Antonio will take care about the machine learning that will be focused mainly in Python. The two options are not the two subject field. They are not disconnected. Actually, they are strongly correlated. They are strongly related to each other because you need a lot of geocomputation process before to enter in the machine learning, because all the layers need to be prepared like you did in your GIS, let's say in remote sensing classes using graphical user interface. So we'll do pretty the same with using command line. The command line that is going to be focused more mainly in the Bash terminal, that is this black terminal that is over here in Linux that you can, for sure now you can access by over here in the Bash terminal. So the Bash, the acronym of Bash is coming from Barn Again Shell, that it was rewritten, kind of reassembled in the 80s, and later on was not touched anymore. So it's still pretty the same in the last more almost 50 years, 40 years. It's pretty the same. Also the command, they are quite stable and they don't change. Maybe there is some improvement in the manual, but there is really stable. So coding, they have only one version probably, because if you get an old code from 20 years ago, it's going to work fine even now after 20 years. So the update, they didn't change. It was so stable that they didn't change any kind of main command line. So the virtual machine, as you can see, is a completely independent environment. As you learned about during the installation, you were loading this big file, the so-called VMDK, virtual box over here. So this one is the file that is containing all the files in the operating system of the virtual machine. So if you decide to change computer, you need to transfer this VMDK file that you were downloading and that is getting bigger with the new data system, and you have to update, transfer to the new computer, okay? So going back to the virtual machine, today we will focus on the Bash terminal, but before to go there, let's review a bit the graphical user interface of the virtual machine. So over here, by this green button, you access to all the menu of the virtual machine. And in particular, over here, you can see that there are all the geospatial software that can be listed. As you can see, this is the beauty of working with OS GeoLive, because all the software in the geo domain, almost all of them, they are ready to go, already installed. And sometimes the installation can be quite tricky, especially if they're not under the apt install situation, that we will see how to do it. So over here, you can see we are not going to see all of them, so feel free to explore the virtual machine by yourself, but we will focus mainly on the geospatial desktop to GIS, such as GRASS. Later on in the class on Wednesday, towards the end of May, we are going to have 3 classes of GRASS. We will touch QGIS, but just for graphical user interface and to see what we are producing. So we are not going to teach the use of QGIS. And there are other software that I also use it through the time, but like Saga and GVSig, but now I mainly focus everything with GDAL, PK tools, and GRASS. So with these 3 tools, you can do all the different geocomputation that you can imagine, okay? Then there are some other software that we will not see, but they are extremely important. Like for example, Rastaman. This one, they belong, all the software that I'm listing now, they belong to the geodatabase software. Okay, so Rastaman, for example, is for raster database and time series of raster developed by a German institute. Rather, we have a spatial light is for graphic, for vector. Actually, Saverio, this is something also that you can think about for your work in the polygon landslide. I forgot to mention. And is developed by an Italian guy, and it was born by an Italian guy, but I think now there is an international team of people. And then there is the so-called Postgres with the PG admin that is mainly for vector file. So I have to say the truth that this one I barely touching during my career, due to that I'm developing everything under raster environment. But if someone is dealing with a lot of, for example, census data, or that are always at vector level, this is the software to develop, to use it. Yeah. Then there are some other browser, let's say WebGIS software like GeoNode or Leaflet or OpenLayer that are focusing more to create web page for the WebGIS interface. Also, this one I have really minimal expertise, but we can point to some reference if you want to expand your understanding in the WebGIS domain. Okay, so especially the first one, GeoNode, is really getting GeoNode and also GeoServer, that I don't know why it's not clear. Maybe it's in another tree. Is really getting popular for the different WebGIS. Okay. Then over here you have the typical other software that you can use it for normal computer work. So like Office, you have all the package of LibreOffice that is working really great. I'm using it from already 20 years without any program. And then of course you can have a bit of other software that you can investigating, and of course you can list and install other software. So this virtual machine is from time to time you need to update, and I suggest to do it like 10, 15 days, every 2 weeks, to do a full upgrade, especially when you are not doing massive processing. Pay attention always, the upgrade moment is quite sensitive time and process. So be sure that your laptop is completely full charge of battery, or you are even plug-in, even better. Because if you stopping or you close it, the virtual machine or the computer crash during the installation can be an issue. So you may need to restart the full virtual machine. So always try to do it when you are not in a hurry. So don't do it before an exam, don't do it before a presentation. Just do it when you are not in a hurry. Yeah. So in order to do the installation of the upgrade of the software, you always need to use the sudo. Sudo stay for super user do. So you have the power of administration privilege, and you do apt upgrade. Okay. So when now you learn it, that when you run the sudo sorry, before this update, sorry, my mistake, sudo update. So by the sudo update is going to checking what you have in your computer, what is in the repository back in time. Okay, and at this moment then you run the upgrade, and is going to install it everything without. So I just did it. So now I don't have to repeat because I did it like a few hours ago. But in case you will see some error, some popping up message to list it. You can see that there are some warning over here. So usually the warning are just warning. You don't have to worry. You need to worry when you start to see some error message in red, you know. But if you don't touching so much with installation and so on, so everything should come smoothly without any problem. Okay, so try to do it during the class, during your free time, and in particular, these are the same command that they were listed in the tutorial for the installation. So in particular, if you open the installation page, that it was perfect the same that was over here when I did somewhere best user mode. Yeah, actually they are inside to this script. There are the update, or I put it, maybe I put in the beginning. Okay, so try to do it. Yes, update, upgrade. Okay, so these are the two commands that from time to time you have to do. Okay. So before, as you can imagine, before to enter in the full understanding of the geodomain and working with the geographical data, we need really mastering the language of Bash and the typical operating system command in order to be able later on to working with the file. So we will go through today and tomorrow, we will go through the typical command that are dealing with the operating system. Could be a bit boring, so pay attention, that could be a bit boring, but they really open you the initial door to enter inside to the Bash. There are plenty of commands that are dealing with the operating system per se, and there are other commands in the Bash that are dealing with the files. Okay, so we will focus mainly in the one that are dealing with the files rather than command how to setting up a network or how to setting up a printer or something like this. So we will mainly dealing with command that are dealing with the files, okay? Because this is we are geodata scientists, so this is where we work. We are not administrator of Linux computer. So we will focus more on this kind of data. So so from the syllabus, this is the typical syllabus that we will use as our landing page. You can scrolling down and go into the lecture number 2, and we are skipping the installation introduction because we already just did it, and we will focus on the Linux command line. Okay, so if you press over here, you will redirect immediately to this web page. I'm going to enlarge, okay, to get better the command. So please try to do it also like I'm doing, rather than using a Jupyter notebook, because I want that you get confident in type in the terminal. Okay, so we will do some copy paste, but maybe later on it's better that you type directly, and I will also type in order to show you how to work and become familiar with the terminal and becoming fast. Okay, so first of all, these symbols over here, okay, pay attention that this symbol over here, they are, and we will see several times, they are used, in particular this and this one, they are used inside to the prompt of the Jupyter Lab in order to show them that they are command for the Bash language, okay? For the Bash language. So so if we go one, yeah. So if we go over here, you can see that the setting of a Bash terminal is always the following. In the beginning, you have the user that is belong to the computer. So in this case, user, is each one of you, okay? In this case, you have the same name because you are using the virtual machine. And then the second part, the user at, is the PC name, okay? So in this case, OSGeo Live, okay? So in the second part, then following, you have the two dots, semicolon, the column, two dots, and then the directory, okay? And after this, you have the so-called prompt where you can start to type the command, okay? So this symbol over here, I will show you that is the command and the directory, okay? So in this particular moment, in this particular case, I was also getting my personal terminal from my computer to show you. 1 second. So to show the difference. So this is the terminal from my computer, from my laptop, and I can say that Selv is my nickname, and I'm using @PopOS because this one is my PopOS terminal, okay? And over here you can see that I have the directory name, okay? So it's quite important to see this new setting system, understanding where you are. Also because when we are working in server, this name will become your username of the server, and this one is going to be the server computer name. Okay, so it's quite important to understand this kind of terminology. Also pay attention to this one, and we will see how it's changing. Is always the directory where we are working. Okay, so let's see a bit about the bash command. The bash command, like every programming language, even the spoken language, they have their own syntax. So it's very important to understand the syntax before anything else. You have always the command, and we will see which are the different commands. Then you have a space. The space can be more than one, but not less than one, okay? Then you have option, and eventually files, okay? So whatever is beyond square brackets, you know, is optional. So means that can be there or not can be there, and can be different also. So for example, the manual, so like over here, so don't put, again, don't put the question mark because it's for the Jupyter Lab. So you can type directly over here. So the man is the command, the option is the key, and the key stays for K, the word that you want to search. So for example, I'm going to search for command that are counting the number of line in a file. So you can do man-K count. Okay, this point is going to be listed, and if you're scrolling down, it's going to list all the command that are you know, all the command that are dealing with the word count. Be careful because then you need a bit of interpretation because can be count of printers or can be count of something that we want to really count. So if you're scrolling down, if you see and you read carefully everything, you can see that the word, the WC, that actually means word count. So each single command is an acronym most of the time, is going to print the new line, word, byte, and count of each file, okay? And we will see his application, okay? We will see the application of this command word count. So at this point, you don't know how to use it, the word count. So you can do man word count, and you can enter in the details of each command for the word count, okay? So you can see that the word count has perfectly the same syntax that I mentioned before, okay? And you can see that you have everything between square brackets is optional, and then you can give the file name. And the option usually, no, or quite often, they are listed, they are starting with the dash and C, okay? The dash, sorry, and a letter. And the different letter also, they have a shorten, yeah, is an acronym of what they are doing. So for example, VC-L is going to print the new line counting, so the line of the file, okay? So let's see how, for example, we can do it, okay? So let's see if we have a file over here, just to give you an example. I'm going to list, do we have a file name over here? Okay, not really, but text, yeah, welcome message. So this one is the welcome message that is pop up in the beginning. So if I do WC-L, is going to count how many line I have it, okay? So if I do it without the -L, I'm going to count how many line, how many word, if I remember correctly, and how many character is listed. Most of the time, you always need the first two, the number of line and number of count. Be careful that this command that we are going to see for working with the file, they are only working with file that are text file, okay? So the file can be splitted, let's say, divided in two main categories, text file and then binary file. The text file are everything that you can open easily, and they are already converted in text. So the one that you can open with Notepad, for example. These are considered a text file. An ASCII file is a text file. A .txt is a text file. Rather, everything that is converted in binary is going to be converted in binary. So you need an interpreter to open it, that file. So all these files are, for example, the Word file, the Excel file, the TIFF file, PNG, and all these one. And usually why the binary file are much more faster to use it, compressed, because they are already in a machine language, in a computer machine language. Rather, the text file need to be converted, okay? Okay, so let's see how this command that they can be combined and use it in our field of domain for working with a file, okay? So first of all, especially for people not really familiar with the directory and directory structure, whatever I see in the bash terminal is what I see, of course, in our typical hierarchical tree structure, okay? So for example, if I go to user, and you can open this by this icon, if you go to user, I'm going to list whatever is under my home, okay? And this is the symbol of home. So you can see that the same file over here, being data desktop, are also over here. Being desktop, data probably some below there. No, because in a hyperlink, so will be a bit below, but you can see document download, okay, documents download, so everything is listed over here. So of course, if you change a directory, you can change in this way. You can change by, for example, going to our typical SE data. So you can see that over here, you have the path, okay, of the directory. This path can be copied and can be pasted over here. Okay, at this point, you can enter in the same directory. So especially in the beginning, try to use the graphical user interface like I'm doing to understanding where you are, okay? And again, this one, if you do Control L, you can go from, let's say, from this graphical user view of the path to the line of the path. And this one is always slash. Okay, so be careful with the backslash is different than in Windows. So this one is always slash, the forward slash, let's say, and then you can copy paste over here. Or you can do also the opposite. From here, you can copy paste over here. So this one is allow you to move faster from one directory to the other one. And please also use the command line to move between directory, and we will see. Okay, so at this point, let's see how we start to use it. For example, this command and understanding how you work with the terminal. Okay, so whatever you do it in the terminal, pay attention about this. Whatever you do it in the terminal is what you see is a text file. Okay, so indeed you can read. Okay, indeed is a text file you can read. It's a text, so you can read. So you can save it, everything that you are printing in a file, in a text file over here. Okay, so for example, ls dash my list. Okay, so it's going to create a file that is called my list, and this my list I can open with the graphical user interface to show you. So if I go one level up and I do my list, okay, I can see that is a text file where is saved all the name. Be careful, because these are just the name of the file. They are not the yeah, they are just the name of the file. They are not the file, the folder, and so on, okay? Are just the name. So at this point, I can save it over here, and I can save it like here, and I can start to work with this one. Okay, this is just to let you understand how you are using, okay? So if I go back over here, you can see that now my list is a text file, and I can also see the text file over here. If I do ls, and in particular, I can see that my list is over here. I'm creating a text file just by printing whatever I'm printing in that file. So this kind of symbol is called redirect the standard output of the bash terminal. So in other words, every time that I do something in the terminal, there is a standard output that is this one, or there is also a standard error, standard error. So like this one, and try to list the name of a file, and of course, all this one, they tell me is an error. Also, this one, I can save it, okay? Everything that you print in the terminal can be saved. Okay, so, and whenever I have a file, a text file, like the one that we create, my list, I can use my list, txt, I can open it by using the count more, okay, the command more. Okay, so every time that you have a text file, there can be 2 terabyte of text file, you can read by more, okay? More is going to be reading not the full file, okay? This is the beauty of Bash language. Every time that you are opening a text file, is not opening the full file, but is opening just what you see in the terminal, okay? So at this point, this file, you can even append, you can even append something else to the file by putting twice the same symbol. So if you do perfect the same like before, you can do like this. You can append again the same list to the file. And as you can see, if you open again my list, okay, now they will be listed twice the same, the same list of folder, list of file and folder, okay? And the beauty is that most of the time, let's see, also this time, even if you have the file open and you relisting, most of the time, let's see, yes, now has been updating automatically. So what does mean? That most of the time when you have a file open in Linux, you don't need to close it and reopen, but does the automatic refreshing. So this is very beautiful when you are working, you want to see immediately what is going on, okay? At this point, how many line has this file? I don't know. So I can immediately do it, W count, yeah, WC-L, and I can see that my line has been increased. Okay, so I can do it once again. Okay, and I can see that my line has been increased. So these are very good when you want to append in a for loop. For example, the output of a for loop, you want to append to the same file. Okay, so the file is not going to overwritten, but is going to be append. Rather, if you do like this, it's going to be completely overwrite. Okay, it's going to be completely overwrite. Okay, perfect. So I will try to stop every time that there is, let's say, a session to see if everything is clear and if you have question. So the words to you guys. Okay, I have one question for you guys. Due to that, you don't do question, I can do question, no? Which is another command, if somebody knows, for reading text file, if you know in Bash. There are at least another 3, 4. Anyone? In the meantime, I check because maybe somebody does not have the link. Check, please. Oh. Okay. Later on. Okay, so anyone? Another command for reading text file? Kirat.
I think people wrote in the chat, but
In the
it's
chat?
I
Ah,
was
sorry.
like cat.
The chat over here. Bravo,
Yeah.
yeah. Chat. Less, okay, nice, less, Anastasia. So they always say that less is more, no, how they say? Less is more than more. Okay, less, anyone can use less and see what is the difference between more. I don't know, but I always use more than less, but less is more than more, actually. They always make this kind of joke. Yes, good. So Anastasia was suggesting, let me adding a bit more because over here. Okay, so less is also very good. I don't use quite a lot. Actually, is better than, like I say, is better than more for a simple reason, because you can go down, but you can also go up. Okay, so rather than more, you can only scrolling down. Okay, so you can, and once again, the file is not fully open, it just open what you see in the screen. Okay, and pay attention to get out from less, you have to press Q. Okay, so the advantage is, again, with the more, you cannot go up. You actually, you can also look, I didn't know. Yeah, or maybe you can go up by, yeah, is jumping. Okay, in jumping section, with less you can go slowly one by one. Okay, so but anyway, they are very similar. Use one of the two. Then another one. Who knows another one? Anyone?
People are mentioning cat.
Brava, very good. So we can use cat to completely print. That's why a cat for print whatever is in the text file. But be careful with cat, you can scrolling down the full list. So if you have a file very long, you cannot neither scrolling up to see what is going on. Okay. So very good. And then there are some other two. Let's see if somebody knows.
There is V.
Sorry?
V to open Beam.
Okay, so she say to open VI. Okay, so these are becoming in the text editor. Actually, I don't use it, so I don't remember never how to get out VI. But the same concept is, I use the one that is Emacs. okay? And Emacs is similar to VI for people and is opening. Look, it said not installed. I thought it was installed, but anyway, you can immediately install it. Actually, let's do it together because it's something that you will need it. So we can do Emacs. You can do sudo, maybe this one, the GTK, should be very similar, but so it's going, this is how you install a particular software. Quite often, especially is a very well-known software, is going to tell how to install it, okay? Of course, you have this software is user, and you can see and install it. It's going to ask, are you sure you want to install it? You say yes, okay? Okay, so with the VI and with Emacs, these are the two, the one of the first software for programming editor, the so-called editor for programming text file. We will see, we will not use it, VI or Emacs for programming for a simple reason, because they are a bit tricky to use it, and Jupyter Lab is a much better for educational purpose, okay? In reality, most of the programmers, they use VI or Emacs, okay? I'm also, when I'm coding, heavy coding, not teaching or preparing a class, I use Emacs because it's much faster, and also because the graphical user interface is very light, okay? So you can work in mainly in two ways, in VI and Vmax too. So you can, and I'm going to explain this symbol now, 1 second. So you can open, as an additional windows, okay? And be careful, because also this one, VI and Emacs, is going to open the full file, okay? So the beauty is that you can modify, so you can adding something, and then you can even, there are shortcuts to save it, to cut and save it and do some operation. And you will become, if you start to use a VI or Emacs, you can become very fast without touching the mouse, okay? So I can even close with the keyboards, okay? Now, for example, later on, I will show how to use it. So this end over here is useful because, and can be used not only with Emacs, with any kind of process. When you launch the process over here, you can see that the terminal is still valid. It's still, you can still working on the terminal. Rather, if you don't put it, let me close it. Rather, if you don't put it, it's going to open in any case, but the terminal is going to be locked for the Emacs that has been opened. Okay, so these one are in terms, in computer science term, this means sending the Emacs to the background. Okay, so Emacs is running in the background of the terminal. Okay, perfect. So this is how we use this one. And this, thanks, Chiara, for mention VI. And for VI, it's perfect the same procedure, but you use VI. Again, I'm not running because if not, I don't know how to close it. Okay. And the beauty of Emacs and also VI is that you can open not in an external windows. This is usually the external window that is popping up is called in the X11 term, but you can open directly in the terminal. Okay, so now I'm typing directly in the terminal the text file. This is very beautiful because when you work in the server, especially faraway server, for example, the one that I'm using in the Yale University is quite far, so I have a delay if I use other editor. Rather, with this one, you're working directly in the terminal, so it's like to be in the computer. So it's really efficient. But of course, over here, you can't close, so you need shortcuts to close it and to save it. So in case you open it, now you have to close it, you can do Control XS to save it all together, and then Control XC to exit. Okay, so this is only if you enter. Don't worry, if you didn't, it's fine. If you want to become faster, you can Google it, these little shortcuts for Emacs or for VI in order to become faster in this operation. Okay. Okay, thanks for this question and this point. So anyone else? Some other little tips that want to share it for open file? Yeah.
How did you say to close it?
Yeah, so when you open XS to save it, XC to close it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and these are also listed over here. When you do over here, you have some shortcut. Where it is, edit, paste, yeah. Yeah, for example, close. Yeah, close tab, Control X, Control X, yeah. And yeah, Control XC. Yes, Control, the C, the capital C, uppercase C stay for Control, and then XC for closing, yeah. This one, quit, sorry, this one, X and C. So Control X and Control C is a bit rebus, but this is how to read, okay? Perfect. So you will see that whenever you will become familiar with Jupyter Notebook and you start to working heavily, you will, let's say, not using anymore Jupyter Notebook and moving to an editor like Emacs or VI, or even sometimes they even use Sublime. This is very common also. And then there are also that are more Python oriented, and maybe we will see also this one later on. Okay, perfect. So let's see some special character. Okay, so there are all the character. There are some of the character that they can have a double meaning. Okay. So, for example, this one is very common. I mean, means any command, sorry, any character of any length of any length of even more than one character. Okay, so if I'm listing, for example, this one, you can list all the character. Okay, so this one we will also learn how to become fast in this kind of copy paste. So especially if you have a mouse with a roller over here in the center, if you select it, then it's already copied. Then you go to the terminal, you just press the roller over here in the middle in the mouse, and it's going to be paste. So okay, so you don't need to do the typical copy. So you can do paste to the clipboard, but it's much faster if you just do it like this, ls, and then the center over here. Okay, so this one is going to list it because over here in this folder, I have many files and many folders too. And this is going to list all the files that are starting with /dev/tty, and then anything else after the y. So this one, this 72, 22, and so on, okay? So these are quite important to select the files. In particular, you know, you can see some other that are more, this is a very broad one, rather some other are really more keen, more some specific details. And so, for example, if you do question mark, it's going to list any file, any folder having only one character that can be a letter or can be a number. Okay, over here in the list, there is only number, so it's going to be list only number. But if there were letter, they were going to list also letter. Okay. Or if I want to list some specific character, So for example, I can use the square brackets over here. I can say from 2 to 4. So it's going to list me all the file 2, 3, and 4. Of course, if this one is not there, it's not going to list it. Okay. Rather, if I do it, you know, if I want some specific, I can use all the character, sorry, all the word that are starting with TTY or loop, and then any character. So in this case, I have a loop, any character after, loop, any character after, and so on later on. T, any character after it, and also you can see that actually the asterisk is also nothing, can be also no character. That's why this one is listed. Okay, so why I'm teaching these? Because these are very important when you listed the file to do before to do a for loop. Okay, so we are going to dealing, for example, you are going to deal it with all the, for example, you download your temporal files with all the files for the full year. Okay, and these are called with the dates. The typical 01 for January, 02 for February, 03 for March, and so on. I'm going to list it all the day of all the years, for example. So let's suppose I'm going to download some NASA data. So they are calling NASA, I don't know, NASA TMP for temperature of which year. So it's going to, I want to select only January for every year. Usually they have the typical 2020 and then 01 and then the month, the year. Okay. So if I want to select all the file from starting with the NASA TMP from all the year belong to January, I'm going to write something like this. Okay. If I want to be more specific, I can even write, you know, 2 question mark for the dates, for the day, and 4 question mark for the year, 2000, in order to select all the year that belong to 4 digits, okay? So you can really play with this special character as you want to select some specific file that you want, okay? And yeah, so I will give you like 4 or 5 minutes to play a bit with this character and try to select something in particular, okay? You can still play in the same folder, okay? Or you can even explore files that are in the slash media. So now you should have this one, SF my SE data, and you in exercise, there are plenty of data. So for example, yeah, so for example, you can even say, okay, let me see all the Jupyter notebook that they were belong to next year, last year, 2023. So play a bit or even go deep, you know, in the geodata folder, you have plenty of file that you can work a bit in the file, in the climate. But before to do this one, let me show you a bit of changing directory and so on. So you can list, as you can see, you can list the file directly by specify the full path. Something very important is and to become fast in listing the folder is the use of tab, okay? So the tab is this 2 arrow that is on top of the shift. So if you press 1 times, okay, share it. So for example, I'm over here. If you press 1 times, nothing is happening. But if you press twice, it's going to be listed whatever is starting with a specific character. Be careful. Now I didn't specify any character. So it's listing everything because everything is starting with everything. But as soon as I put O, for example, the OpenEV, I can press it again, OpenEV, and is going to complete by pressing tab the full word, okay? So let me say prediction, for example, is going to make the full, and you press tab, so use the tab continuously, don't type, for two reasons. You avoid mistake, you become faster, okay? So over here, you can see site, I type this one, site, okay? Site, there will be more than one. So what if I press tab, so now I press tab, is going to do what? Is going to complete up to here, okay? But then is going to do, is not going to complete more. And is going, so if you press twice, is going to list which one you want, the one with the slash or the one with the zip. And in that case, you press the one that you want, like for instance, site raster is going to list it over here in site raster, okay? At this point, with the error, with the two arrow up and down, you can go back, okay? You can go back and listing all the command that you did in the past. So once again, if you type something and you did in the past close by, don't type again. Use the arrow to go up and down. You know, look, we can see what I did, the word count, the Emacs. I'm just pressing now, I'm just pressing the upper. So you can do the same, okay? And use the tab for auto completion. So now I give you a few minutes to get familiar with this terminal operation for listing some files. So don't try to type, and you can see that the command ls is going to list a file in this way. The command ll is going to list it in an order in such a way that you can also see the permission, the date of creation, and also the size of the file. Okay, so for example, this one you can see is quite site raster. What is this? Site raster is quite big file. So these are in binary. So if you do -h for human, you can get also in was in GSIM. Yes, because you don't have it, because this is my shared folder. Okay, can be right, can be slightly different, but it's the same concept. Okay, so if you do it site raster zip, you can see that these one are in megabyte, so it's much easier to read than before. Before it was in binary, okay? So try to get familiar with this command, and also the cd command to change and enter in one specific directory, okay? So I want that you become faster in this kind of change directory, tab, GSIM, okay, in this kind of, as you can see, I'm not touching, okay, you are not see, but trust me, you are not touching my mouse, okay? So you can really becoming faster without touching the mouse. And again, you can use ls to list, and then you can enter zip, and then you can see that I have many files inside here. Then, you know, you can see that over here they have many files, time series, you know, now I type T, and then autocomplete with a tab. And then now monthly, you press it again, monthly. So play a bit with this. I give you like few minutes, 5 minutes to get confident. And then we see if you succeed or not. Okay. So there is the command find, okay, that is going to serve for specific file. So for example, if I do find in this directory, always I point where they are, the directory, and then I do -name, and then I can use now they come the special character, for example, all the Jupyter. So for example, a typical example, all the file from the Jupyter notebook, this is the extension of notebook, and I'm going to put over here in front the while character, okay? And this one is going to list all the file with the Jupyter notebook extension, okay? Sometimes I don't really know why. Sometimes you have to put, yeah, it's pretty the same. In this case, it's pretty the same, but sometimes it can be slightly different if you put a quotation or not, okay? Okay. Okay, so any kind of similar, similar question of this one?
Do you mind if I share screen real quick and show you? Just ask me 1 second.
Of sharing. Yeah.
If I'm in my terminal,
Yeah.
and if let's say I know in my documents there are PNG files. So would I go something like this? And then the problem is it's not finding it. I'm in my Mac terminal.
Okay.
Maybe.
So, yeah, perfect. So first of all, I'm not sure that the Mac understanding that one. Do it first. You put the quotation before the asterisk and after the asterisk.
Okay.
No, sorry. Before.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That
perfect.
works. Okay.
It was.
Interesting.
Yeah. Actually, it's not there, but it's better in the end. So take out that one.
Yeah.
In the end, yes, over there. Perfect. That's why I say
Okay.
on that now. At least, yes. Now you find it.
Got it.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay,
So.
cool. Great.
Um,
But then this goes for. Okay, so this goes for the. So whatever I put here.
Yes, so
So I
that
want
one
to go from.
where you start from down. Okay.
Okay. So this is not the
Okay.
entire thing. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So
Cool.
that one, the one that is started with the dot. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see. Okay, perfect. When you put dot means from where you are down.
Got
Okay.
it.
In this case, you are in the home, so you go from there to down. Okay.
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 Thank you.
So you can see the prompt of Kirat is slightly different because he's using in the Mac. But as you can see, the terminal of Mac, he can perfectly follow all this lecture also in the Mac. So if there was somebody else with the Mac, please do it as we are doing. Okay. Very good. Okay. So let's move, due to that we are in the find, we were using this command find. So let's use this output to explain this quoting, okay? Okay, so there is a particular way of typing, a way of working for concatenate. So that's what the piping, when you pipe something to the other, with the command of bash, that is the symbol, is this kind of symbol over here, okay? That is on top of the backslash for United States. Some other they have, and this is just a vertical bar, or sometimes if you have an Italian keyboard or some other keyboard, sometimes they have 2 dots, but they are longer, okay? They are not the typical 2 dots from the syntax for writing, but they're a bit longer. So try to see where is this symbol. This symbol is the so-called pipe, okay? So we were using find, and as you can see, we were listing all the files that are starting with any character ending in Python extension. We can see that we can using also the quotation over here. Now, if we want to count it, how many these files are, we can proceed in two ways. For example, I can list a file, save in a file, and say, call it a name of a script, a name of a file, my file.txt. Okay, and then I can count, like I mentioned before, how many files I have. So I can see that I have 53 files. So now the question is, can I do this in only one shot? Okay, of course, and how you can do it with the pipe. So with this symbol, I'm going to transfer the result of this one to the second command, okay? And this is going to give me immediately the number, okay? So in other words, whatever you were glue it between brackets, for example, in Python, in R, here you can do with the Python, with the pipe, okay? You can do as many you want, okay? You can do as many you want, and can become also quite complex. Usually after 3 or 4, you don't do it anymore, because then you lose which one is piping to the next one. So you lose a bit of character. So you need to create a file and then do a second operation. But you can do it, okay? So this is the concept of piping, and we will see a lot of use of piping for text manipulation. And pay attention that using bash and AWK for text manipulation is still the fastest way to process file, even more than Python, than R, whatever. So whenever we are dealing with big file, and sometime we will see this folder that you don't have it, but I'm going to point to you in a couple of days. This gsim folder has 1,000 files that is very complex to even to list them. Let me show you this way, you can see. You don't have it, this one, but this is just for explanation. So time series, and this is /time series. Okay, so I go monthly. So here there are so many files, and you will count how many, that he has even problem to list it. Now he's holding because he's listing the file, you know, okay? So, and in this case, I'm going to count how many files I have. I can list it, and then I can see WC minus L. So I can see that there are 30,000, something like this, 30,000 files, or even more probably. Okay, yeah, 30,000, okay? So this one start to become a big file, a number of files that is quite complex to list it. I want to count how many there are these are the country names, so probably it's New Zealand. I don't know that, or maybe Zimbabwe or whatever. Anyway, so this is so I'm going to list all the files that are counting from this country, okay? So I can see that is 83 files. So this is how you pipe the information. And this pipe can be becoming longer and longer, okay? So this is the concept of piping over here, you know, that can be really, really useful for this kind of operation, for file counting, or we will see also for other kind of manipulation inside to the file, because this one in particular is a text file, okay? This one is a text file that you can see is a text file that I can cut. So over here, we will see how bash can use it to manipulate this file, okay? Okay, perfect. So the same, let's do it another round table about question that you have. I have this kind of file in my folder, and maybe you can already sharing. And of course, something important that you can already start to do it, you know, because this is going to be your work inside to this sharing folder that you should have. Okay, so inside here, now in SLVM shared, you have also only my SV data. Okay, but this is a sharing folder we create for some reason. In other words, if you get, 1 second, I need to get your Windows term, your Windows hierarchical tree, and you go in the folder that you create, mine is over here, you can see that if you transfer, you copy file in this folder in the LVM shared from your Windows, they are going to appearing over here. Okay? So as you can see, they are perfectly the same. So that with all this one, it's not easy to. Yeah, so they are, for example, installed by Geo, my file, they are here. Installed by Geo, my file. So start to bring, especially if you have text files, start to bring inside to this sharing folder in order to be able to start manipulate them with the command that we are seeing, okay? Especially for that text file. If you don't have text file, it's fine. You can, or maybe you can download something, but you know, is good to start with text file that will be easier to manipulate, especially for this one. Okay. Okay. Anyone want to already say, okay, carry over in the sharing folder my 2 billion file, I am going to list it. I want this kind of question. No, 2 billion it start to be very big. It's not going to hold it. But you know, 1,000 is fine. Anyone is working with text file and want to sharing his experience. People, for example, people working, sometimes even, yeah, people with working with census data, human data, let's say, quite often they are in text file. They want to sharing his experience. Anyone? Chiara, let me see what are your file that you want to list at the query. And
Actually, my question is, how do we move from our local machine to the virtual machine? Because I might have files locally on my computer.
yeah, you just dragging in this folder that I just mentioned.
But okay, so for my, I haven't tried that yet, but so for my local, I can just go into the virtual machine and drag them, like.
No, don't try to drag in them, because you can do for one file, but 2 files, but that, no. But whenever, so this one is the sharing folder, okay? This LVM share, this one is your Windows. Okay, my case is Linux, but this one is your Windows machine, and you can access to the LVM shared, the probably you put under documents, under desktop. So whatever you put under this folder is going to be visible over here, okay? So let's do it. Let's do it one more time. Over here, if I create a file, new folder, and a file test folder, okay, create a file under Windows. Don't think that I have, so it's going to be test folder. Now, if I go here in my virtual machine and I list it, it's going to be test folder over here. So if everything is fine with the sharing folder, you should be able to do this. And please check it if you can do it. And everybody try, and especially dragging file, you know. So you can put whatever you want under that folder. Okay.
So, for instance, I was opening a CSV file, but like opening it, okay, of course the columns are not super, you know.
Okay.
Is there a better editor for a CSV file?
Okay, we will see CSV file, how to manipulate CSV file. Let me see if I have it. I should have it. Fine. Okay, typical example. Find over here, down here, dash name, any CSV file dot CSV. Okay. So I can have some of them, like this one. CSV file are text file. They are not binary file. So that you can open directly. This one now. Allow you to see it. Okay. You can open directly. And this one you should have also with more. Okay. So in my case, you know, they are quite well organized, this one. So it's very easy to scrolling down. Okay. So as we can see, CSV file, you can open. How you can see that is a text file or not a text file? Can I open a binary file, and let's see how it look like? So if I get a TIFF, let me see a TIFF file that I have. So for example, if I open this one with a command for text file, can I open? I get this type of stuff. Okay, so it's very easy. Is a binary or is a text file? If you do something that is not readable because it's binary, so it's not readable by human eyes, means it is a binary. So you need a so-called interpreter to read this file. And it can be GDAL, can be OpenEV, can be QGIS, or can be all this stuff. Rather CSV, that probably you already know, but CSV stands for comma separator, I don't remember. Sorry?
I think it's values, comma separated values.
Bravo, comma separated value. Very good. Thank you. So this one is divided by the command. Okay, people working, I'm already tell you because we are going in that direction. People working with Bash and with Linux, they use always the space to separate, not always, but quite often, because it's the default. Okay, so, and the default will be having over here, not the comma, but the space. Be careful that sometimes if you have a space inside here, for example, it's going to be used as a column. Okay, so always double check what they are doing. Okay, so we are going to see in the following class how to start manipulate. Now we are working not inside to the file, but with the files. Okay, so we are not touching inside the file, but we are just moving, counting, and so on, you know, the file, searching for them and this kind. From now on, we are going to start to manipulate the file internally, and we will see first bash command, pure bash command, then more complex awk command, awk command in the next class, and to see how to manipulate them. Okay. So Caterina holding a bit for this kind of question, but very good. CSV file you can open our text file.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's have a break.
I have a question.
Asma, yeah, please.
Usually when we work, even when I use Python and other data science software, so we work on binary like data frame, rows and columns type kind of file. But now you are focusing on too much on text file. But I am thinking most of the time we work on data frame like rows and columns, but not this kind of text file.
No,
So
wait a second. A CSV, like the one that I'm showing, is in row and columns. In this particular case, each one of these is a row of a database, And these one are two columns, 1 and 2. So what you see in Excel as a two columns is the same concept, but over here is the column is divided by the comma. Okay, so everything that you see in Excel, let's call it Excel, or even in the attribute of QGIS, that is the visual interpretation. But if you see underneath in the file is nothing else that a text file divided by this. Okay, or if it's not text file, it's a binary
You mean
file.
in the background we have this kind of data?
Sorry?
You mean in the background we have this kind of data?
Perfect, yes. The
Okay.
only difference that if it's a text file is already visible directly, like
Okay.
we are doing now. Rather, if it's an Excel file, for example, you need an interpreter because it's binary. So you need an interpreter to read this file, this
Yeah.
by human eyes. Okay, so they can be the Excel file, or they can be the Access file, or they can be the QGIS that is reading the database, the attribute table of the column. Okay, so
Okay.
these are the difference. But we are going to work to actually our main files. There will be two kinds for the format binary or text, and for the kind of visualization can be table or raster file or vector file. These are the three kind of table, and each one can be text or file. Sorry, can be text or binary. Even a raster can be a binary file as a TIFF, or can be a text file as the old ASCII, ArcGIS ASCII file, if somebody remember before. Okay, so we will see all these concept of file.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's have a break until 50. So we have yeah, let's say 40, yeah, 50 is fine. Yeah, we have a bit of break, 20 minutes break. Okay, and meantime you can break, but you can also start to change the directory and getting fast in the time. Okay, see you at 50. Question in these regards that you were trying?
I ask a question?
Yeah.
So maybe like just as the text file we saw, and if I want to count there are how many categories, like repeating like this D and E's, is it possible, or is it an easy way to do it?
Yeah.
Because I can imagine like in the future, if I want to run the loop, then I want to know, for example, how many countries I have to loop for it, and then I just want to know the data. How many data?
Yeah. Let me share the screen. Okay. Okay, so first of all, let's see how I would create that file in the Bash environment for creating a file that then later on is not having this kind of problem. Okay, so it's a good habit also to, when you do some test, to enter in this directory, /tmp. So this directory is up in the hierarchical tree. So in other words, is over here. So is in the top of the computer. So over here, when you do, when you are like here, you are on the top of the hierarchical. trees of the computer. Up more, there is nothing more. So whenever you start with a slash, you starting from the top of the hierarchical tree, and then you enter, for example, in the TMP over here. So this TMP, where it is, this one. So this TMP is very useful because every time that you're shutting down the computer, this folder is empty, is clean, it's completely clean. Okay, so it's very good to many programmers. They write over there when there is a file that you don't need to keep it. You don't care if it has been removed or not. So in this case, I can write this file, okay, with the command echo. So she say, I want to write this series of files. So I can do one, then I can put another one, then R, then T, even longer, T, and T. Then I enter, and then I put the two quotation, and then I save it to the file, and then I write my list, okay? My list .txt. Okay, so I wrote one file that I can cut my list. That is going to be, you know, a serious number, and be careful. I also have it one row that is completely empty. Probably because because this quotation should be here, okay, and not here. But anyway, we will try to use it in any case. So she can say, okay, she was asking, can I have a unique list of number of characters that have not repeated, a unique list. And there is indeed one command that is called unique to create just the unique file over here that has been listed, the unique character or word that has been listed, okay? Because be careful that is a unique towards the row, not towards the line, okay? So in other words, if I modify my, with the Emacs, that may be easier too. So if I put another one over here, this one is becoming again a new unique, because it's unique through the line, not through the character, okay? So for example, now if I count how many unique file I have, you know, I can do pipe wc-l, but be careful because it's going to count also the empty line, okay? So in this case, always pay attention, especially this is quite often happening in the last line of the text file, where there can be potential mistake on this one. So in this case, you can, okay, the easy one is to do it with Emacs, so that you can remove this empty line, or you can do it with other command like sed, S-E-D, okay, that are useful for string manipulation inside text file. So you can Google use of sed for removing empty line, for example. And this is now is giving to me 5 commands, 5 unique character that is going to list this one, okay? So is this the reply that you were searching?
Yes,
Okay.
thanks.
Yeah, so this is very useful for different kind of application to find unique value in text file, okay? So pay attention that we will see this kind of, now I'm a bit anticipate, but we will see this kind of example. But anyway, very good, because this means that you already start to thinking and using the bash environment to manipulate your files, okay? So let's move to this part of the, yeah, so let's move to this part of the of the second part of the lecture when you say manipulate text file. So you can click over here and we can go in the new page. Okay. So pay attention over here. We start to use Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Lab. It's perfectly the same. Over here, we will see Jupyter Notebook quite often, but you can use both of them. Okay, pay attention that in the beginning of all the web page, there are going to be always a command to enter in the specific directory that we are working. And in this particular case, we are working in shared MySE data exercise, okay? So over here, we have a list of Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Lab. Let's make bigger, that is always a bit, yeah. Jupyter Lab that are identified with this acronym, so Notebook, Python, whatever, I don't remember. And you can open, in this particular case, you can open this one with the Jupyter Lab. So if you type Jupyter Lab and space lab, okay, is going to open, so it's going to open the Firefox, okay? So consider that when Jupyter Lab is open, you will have perfect the same in all the page, you will have perfect the same over here, web page, than the Jupyter Lab, okay? Actually, is a clone of the Jupyter Lab. If someone is interested in this, I can explain how to maintain this web page. Okay, so pay attention that over here, Jupyter Lab, you can make bigger. Okay, so to have over here, you have all the scripting procedure and all the windows when you can adding line, or so over here you can easily adding another line. So Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook the same. When you want adding a line, the default is a command line. But over here, you can change this one to Markdown. Markdown is a language for writing text in this case. And over here, you can type, for example, you can Google it, Markdown syntax. So if you write over here, header is going to, and you put this symbol in the beginning, and then you run it, is going to become like an header, like a title. Rather, if you don't put anything, it's going to be just text, okay? So you run it, Markdown, you run over here. So I strongly suggest whenever you want to write something for getting your notes, don't write in a piece of paper, but actually write directly in the Jupyter Notebook. I do this due to this one, okay? So it's much easier, and then it's good for reference for you to maintain this one as a reference. Okay, perfect. So it's very good habit, even if you are running Jupyter Notebook. So this one is the terminal over here is olded because it's running the Jupyter Notebook. So don't do anything. You can minimize and you can open a new one, okay? So it's very good also to use the Jupyter Notebook, but also to interact with the terminal, because, you know, by pressing the Jupyter Notebook, now everything will work because you just press it, okay? And if you want to interact, it's much easier to do sometimes. If you want to see that a file has been created, how long is this file, and so on, you can easily go into the terminal. And of course, you can have more than one terminal open. And actually, you can have, you know, one terminal in one directory. Usually I have 4 or 5 terminal open, and I can be one in one directory and the other one in another directory where I'm working. Okay, so you can even customize this terminal somewhere, preference over here, you can change color and so on. So I have, for example, in my computer, I have different color of the terminal for the different server that I'm using. In this way, I can immediately see, okay, red is the Yale server, this one is the other server. So it's very good to customize. And feel free to have more than one terminal open. Okay, let's see a bit of this text manipulation, and we will try to find, to see also some command on the fly. So this is quite a big file. So you can see that this file is quite big. So you can even, you know, copy from here and paste it. Okay, here I need to enter in the same directory. And in particular, this one was here, so I can enter from here. Okay, this one is not, yeah, copy. Okay, forget cd slash media. So I media type sf type not type tab my SC data. I type my and then tab again, exercise tab again. I enter in the same directory. So now if I do word count txt slash average months, I can see that my file has 53,000 lines. It's still a good file to starting with, to working with. Kumar, question, go.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Basically, my folder is in other directory, and I just try to work on it, but the Jupyter doesn't work now.
Okay. So
Oh.
if you did correctly, the sharing folder and also the git clone, because
Yeah.
the git clone and the rsync command, you should have perfectly the same folder that I have.
But the rsync doesn't work. Denied the permission, something like that.
Okay, probably you still have some problem in the sharing folder. Maybe we can tackle later on. Okay,
Okay,
so try to follow. You can even work in another folder, no problem. You should have, if you have this one ls home in this one cd, it's a ls my data. Sorry, my SC data, my ls SC data. So you can work also on this one. It's the same. Then we can try to fix it. Okay.
Okay, I have it, but I don't know why the Jupyter doesn't work. Doesn't open.
Yeah, maybe try to follow it.
Okay.
We will address it later.
Okay.
You can watch the recording. Okay, so where was over here? Yeah. So now what I'm doing, I'm with the head command. So the head command is quite good. Let me enter again, cd dash, I enter where I was before, and now I can get to the same. So the head command is quite good because I can list, and actually this one was how I can read the text file. I can read listing just the first 10 lines with the add command. That's why it's called add. And with the tail, I can list the last one, okay? So these are very important, again, commands that are very important because even a 1 terabyte text file, let's see, nobody will create, but eventually, you can opening the header or the tail in this way, okay? And you can have some options. So if you go into the manual, if you want to list the last 2 files, you can do tail and you list the last file. So these are very good to understanding what is going on in the file. Okay, let's suppose that this one, okay, still small file, 30,000 is not a big file, you know, and even if you count, you know, you see the size probably is not arriving to, yeah, it's arriving to barely to 1 mega and 3 points. It's still small. But let's suppose that this one is 10 gigabyte and you want to make it smaller to start working, okay? So you can create a dummy file, running this command, okay? Running add -1, so dash 1000 is going to create your input file. Now I have it over here in this directory, in the ls, I have my input file over here. That how many line I will have? Anyone?
Still 1,000?
1,000, yeah. Creating just the first 1,000 just to start to working with a smaller file, you know, because I don't want to every time to process the full file. So I can, yeah, also in this way I can check. As you can see over here, now I'm putting always the question mark to identify to the, sorry, not the question mark, the exclamation mark to identify that this one is going to be a bash command. If I don't put it, it's going to interpret that this one, the default is a Python command, okay? So is always, there is this way to put an exclamation mark and say, okay, whatever is following is a bash command. Be careful that later on we will see also this symbol is pretty much the same, okay? But especially if there are more lines below, so it's better to put this percentage bash, okay? With this way, we can even see the tail of the command, okay? Perfect. So something extremely important, especially when you are dealing with a text file, is one of the most important is the sorting command. This sorting command is very tedious. Be careful because there are many combinations. So if you want to search for a command that is able to do the sorting of a text file, you can see that the sort line of a text file. This is helping you. It's very easy to understand. So at this point, you can enter in the manual of sort, okay, and you can see all the options of the sorting manual. So one of the most common sorting is the descending order, as you can imagine. So let's suppose I want to sorting based, okay, this is just a table, is a text file. So for people, that was asking before, there were table as must be left, but this is a classic table divide by space, okay? And is divide by space for a simple reason, because people working with bash with the AWK, the default is space. So if we want to use it with the CSV, it's also possible, but every time we have to say, okay, separation is the comma, separation is the comma. So every time you have to specify that is the comma. So in this way is easy to work with the space. So in this case, let's suppose I want to sort it based on the number of, based on the second column. So sorting based on the year, I can say -k 2,2, okay? And, sorry, let's say sort, okay? And I can say input txt file, input txt, okay? So now I'm sorting, as you can see, you know, the first one is going to be sorting based on 2007. If I want to see the first year, which one is going to be 97, and I go towards the end, that is 2007. So as you can see, I'm listing the file and I'm immediately checking the first one and the last one. So as you can see, this is the most easy way to find outliers in your table. Quite often the outliers are extreme value that can be negative or positive, and they are far away from, they are always over the minimum maximum that you suppose. If you are working with Celsius temperature and you get a value of 2000, and it's going to be temperature of the earth temperature, probably does not exist. They can exist 60, 70, 80 if you have some reflection somewhere. So it's very easy to select sorting file extreme value in this way. Luca.
Just a quick question. When you wrote the 2,2, I mean 1, 2 is the second column, and the other 2,
yeah.
what does it represent?
Yeah, very good. So the second the 2 is the second column. Then if you don't write anything else, and the key is stay for the keywords of the where you want to sort it. If you don't write anything else, it's going to be the third one, then the fourth one, and so on. So indeed, if I remove it, if I remember correctly, you look, yes, you get the third one. Over here you will get the fifth one. Okay, so in other words, it's also sorting the other column in Automatica. Usually we always do the sorting based on one column, but if you want to do it following, this is the way to do it. Actually, I never did it. If you want to sorting based, you want to do based on this one, probably is, yeah, now it's changing because it's sorting based on the second and then based on this one. Be careful that the row, they stay stable. They don't mix up row and column. Okay, each row is still the same. They're just changing the sorting. Okay. Very good. Okay, Luca? Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so pay attention that the sorting, there are different ways of sorting, and especially if we do sorting of number 5, that is the one with the this number, and over here, once I discovered this after years, so many mistakes I did. So this sorting, you can see that actually not this one, but the following one, and I will tell you. If you can see over here, if I scrolling based on this one, you get a small one. It's too much. Let's do. Okay. Yeah, this one I want to show. So you can see that this one is the typically binary sorting. So you have the 8, then you have everything 8, 8 and following, and then you have the 9, and so this is the binary sorting. So be careful. So if you want the real numerical sorting, if you see the help, you find out the n is give you the numerical sorting. Indeed, you have the typical ascending where you have the first one quite small, and then the tail one is the numerical sorting, and now become the mistake. So the dash n does not read the scientific numbers. Okay, so if you use the n in this with the scientific number, when you have 10 to the power 2, is going to read only the 10 and not to the power of 2 to the e. So rather, if you use the dash g, is going to do even the scientific sorting in the right way. Okay, so this one I discovered after years, but always, just to show you, always double check potential mistake. Then what, because the command is giving you the reply, but maybe it's not the right one. Okay, so, and this is extremely fast. You can sorting really gigabytes of text file in few seconds, or maybe just waiting a bit, and is also implemented internally in multi-core. Okay, so it's very often used for find, and we will see how, also extreme value in a raster file. So if you have several raster file, you can get minimum, maximum of each raster, and then you get the maximum of the maximum using sort, for example, in a text file. And we will see how to use it, how to combine this. So it's extremely powerful and has been really optimized. There are different algorithms to do the sorting. If you like, there is YouTube video to do all the different kind of sorting. So, and is going to multi-core in automatically. So As soon you run it, you will see in a big file, you will see 3-4 processors running together. Perfect.
I have a question. So when if you do sort 2, 1, I would expect that to do like, yeah. So if you do sort and then 2, 1 for the key.
2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, and okay, so this 2, 1, this one is going to be sorted. Look, good point. Yeah, so this one is going to be sorted based on alphanumeric order. So it's not sorting with the 11, but with the B. Okay.
But you'd expect the 2005. That's like the
5, 6,
second to
7.
last.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Look, yeah, you are right. So is sorting in that way. Yeah, good point.
You'd expect that to be the second
Yeah,
row.
that's why always be careful about the sorting, and maybe the way to do this as you want should be like this, but I'm not sure. I'm guessing.
Okay,
So
that's okay.
sometimes can be really tricky. 1. Maybe this one is correct. So it's maintaining the 97 and then it's sorting this one. But B, yeah, so could be that is correct. So the sorting is very complex. How many sorting type can do it? Of course, also this G is influencing, okay? Because if you do N, maybe this is going to change. Let's see. 124. Okay, this one is still constant. This one also. So the G does not influence, at least in this case. So always double check, because the combination in the sorting, there can be plenty. Okay, now we are sorting through the full column, but you can sorting even consider 2 characters, the first 2 characters of this column, you know, and the first 2 characters of this other column. So usually, yeah, usually, you know, most of the time you sort in base 1 column. So this one, I use it from many years. So this one, repeating the word. So, and I'm pretty sure that is the correct one for that column. But every time that you combine columns, so double check always, because it can be really tricky. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And once again, is very common to, you know, these are this one is Barnett area. So which one is the highest, the fire, the forest fire with the, sorry here, so with the highest, with the larger. So you do immediately input and you do the tail, and you get the largest file was 12 whatever hectare or whatever it was. Okay, so it's very good to identify outliers. Okay, so even before, rather than making a plot, for example, usually the plot take time to, especially if it's big, do the sorting and get the last number and see if they make sense or not in according to your knowledge. Okay. Yeah, I think I missed this one, the grep command. Grep, yeah, sorry, here I missed. So one command that is very important also for text file is, and now we start to enter a bit in the file, start to work inside to the file, you know, up to now, okay, even the sorting, we were adjusting the file order, but now we are checking, for example, how many file, you know, how many file are belong to 2000 grep 2002 2007. Okay, grep 2007. So this one is giving to me the list, and the grep is just pattern matching where there is this 2007. Okay, So how I can count how many file I have? I can do immediately pipe WC dash L, and I get immediately that there are 189 observation in 2007. Okay. So if I want to do July, I can list July, okay, and I can check if July has 2007, okay? So I say, okay, July is 334. But are we sure that July is 334? Let's see how grep 07 is working. Okay, as you can see, is the 07 getting July, but is also getting the 07 in this column. Okay, so now how I can select this one in this column? If there is an easy way, I'm not asking the difficult way, but the easy way. Try to see, is a pattern matching. Is a pattern matching. So how I want to select this one in this column?
You add space.
Brava, yeah, very good. So the space is something, okay? The space is something. The space is a character. So if I do space, so oops, actually, by the way, it should work also the other. So if there is the space, I'm going to select also this one. Pay attention that I know that there is space and space because it's the only one with space. But if there was some other column with the same column over there, there was going to be a problem. So now you can see that WC-L is different than before. So always double check what you are doing because you can potentially make mistakes. So this pattern recognition is extremely important, you know, even for big file. Okay, so just to give you an example, let me migrate in this big folder. This way you see the advantage. SF GSIM, yeah, GSIM. Okay, bigger. This one I can, if you don't have, these are nice file that I can point to you if you want to start working also because they're going to be an exercise. This monthly. Oh, sorry, CD. Okay, so over here I have this huge text file. I open one. These have been creating in MATLAB, but they've been really well cut, well organized. So in particular, they are text file from water discharge for river. So if I go in the beginning, so let's do like this. Okay, let me do it more. Okay, so if you go in the beginning, so for example, you can see, okay, that you have the beginning is a header file with all the information. And this one, they start to do the recording of each month year for this value. So let's suppose I want to check longitude, which is the span of latitude or longitude. Let's do it in this way, or maybe which is the area, the biggest basin. You know, I want to gap this one and this one. These are plenty of file. Look, I don't even need to make a loop. I can do grep area in all the file start ending with mod. Okay, so over here you can already see that is giving to me, you know, all the value with some are completely empty, but someone they will not be empty. So let me see. Grep. So, and then I will have the 2 dot and then this column. Okay, this column is going to be, so it's going to count it. Let's see which one is the with the stuff that we know. Let's see which one is the bigger. So is first column, second column, third column, and fourth column. Okay, so I can do immediately grep area sort. Okay, dash 1, 2, 3, 4. K 4,4, and then it's going to be tail. Okay, so now is grabbing this information where this line in all the file and is printing to me this value. Be careful, because if this is missing, and I already see that was missing, is going to give me this, but maybe not. Let's see what I'm getting. Okay, so as you can see, there are some potential that you don't need. I'm dealing with many files. I don't need to do a for loop. It's taking care about everything. Okay, so this is very powerful when you have many files to handling. Okay, yes, perfect. So looking is getting all the file. Okay, it's my mistake because I didn't put the dash G. Okay, and it was doing the binary sorting rather than the numerical sorting. Okay, if this one is empty, because there were some file empty, I saw when I was scrolling before, is going to put this one as a number, but due to that is going to be the dash G is going to be a smaller number. I mean, it's going to put in the beginning, so I still getting the biggest like final number. So we will see now, this is the biggest number among this column. Okay, so this is the beauty of working with Bash. With Python, you have to importing one by one, reading, probably this one, just one line. You did it all the 30,000 file in just maybe 5 seconds. Okay.
I didn't understand just one thing. I mean, what's the difference? Why does it have to be 4,4 instead of only 4?
Yeah, because if not, it's going to sort. If you repeat a value, if you don't do it, it's going to sort it based on the following column. Okay, from the fourth going on. So
okay, gotcha.
is it fine? Because
here, okay, here there's more columns, so that's why we needed to do it in the previous file. It finished in 5, so we were doing it.
Yeah, and probably also because you are interested only in the fourth column.
Okay.
And it's going to be further.
Okay, thank you.
For example, if you do the head, so the smallest area over here, you are going to get all these one where they were missing the value. And now you will see, because this one is empty, so it's going to print this one as a fourth column, probably. Let's see. So in other words, is in order, but you need to scrolling down to a certain level. And actually, indeed, you know, you are printing these. Actually, not this one, but the second one, these. So here they should be. So if you scrolling down, now I don't do it, but if you scrolling down, after all these 2 columns, they are going to be two dots. They are going to be the first smallest number. Can I getting also this one? Yes, there are a way, but it's becoming a bit more deep, and we will address it tomorrow, how to go deep in this kind of searching. Okay, but this is the beauty of using grep in for text recognition. So especially if you have text file, for example, also use Saverio, you were working with the CSV. You can, in your full database of landslide, you can search for, you know, which one, because you are dealing with lat long and then some attribute of each landslide. you can sorting, okay, even a lat long, you can say, okay, let me see if there is some lat long that are out of the 90, 90, 180, 180 for some mistake, and you do it in this way, okay? You don't need to plot it and so on. So that's why they are very powerful. This grep and sorting, I use it quite often, yeah, or continuously, yeah. Okay. Question on this topic? Okay, let me try to go back. The Jupyter. Okay, sorting a file. This one we did it. Yeah, the append also we did it. Okay, so we arrived to 45. So tomorrow we will continue with the for loop in Bash and setting up the variable and so on, because this is a bit long, so it's better if I do tomorrow. Anyway, for tomorrow, we will always organize the class in this way. Tomorrow, next week, we are going to have a session like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, where we review the stuff that we did the previous time. And over here, especially if you guys are already trying with your file, is the best way to ask questions, okay? By using and asking question about what you are using for your file. Some specific command that you were not able to do, or something very nice that you are willing to share with the people and say, for doing this, I was using this. So we will do it, this kind of stuff. So the first task for next week is to transfer all your file inside the sharing folder, and I'm going to give you also the web page in the Discord. Now we start to use Discord, where this GSIM folder is located. In this way, you can start to download it, and you can start to play, because it's a good size of data set to do stuff, you know, to use this command. Okay. Okay. So
and we can download in for my case in Windows. We put in the share folder Windows, and then we can see it in virtual machine.
No. You are going to download directly with the command line inside your sharing folder, okay? Your sharing folder. Actually, there are going to be the few lines in the beginning. From now on, everything that you are trying to do it in Windows, get the how to download with the command line in Linux. And you will see that there is the wget command to download it directly in Linux, okay? But anyway, the web page will help you in downloading, or again, if you want to use your data, feel free to do it, okay? Okay, question. Already thinking how to use these amazing tools, or are you still, okay? Saverio, are you thinking to sorting all your landslide and see errors and so on?
Yeah, but I was asking, like, is a way like to recognize non values, like not a number, are specifically identified as a, yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
Okay, if it's okay, is always also this one is something that we will cover in the future, but always remember a none is a something, okay? And no data, when we say no data, has been, there is an interpretation of that data that computer need to know, okay? So in this case, okay, in this case, for example, if I want a sign and I want to know in this input file, you know, that if I know for some reason that my number, my no data number is this, Okay, then I can list and count it. So now in this file, I don't have the typical none like you mentioned. So I can't, it doesn't find anything, but if it would be there, I can count, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so for example, I know that Saverio is using the dash, the typical dash 999 minus 999 for identifying no data. And if this is a number, he will coming up. Actually be careful because this one, look, this one is a bit, you need to escape this, put in front a backslash, and actually neither this one. So I think you need to do with a quotation. Yeah, so with a quote, you need to escape this, or maybe even without, let me see. No, yeah, you need to escape the negative symbol to be able to use under grep. Of course, nothing is coming because I don't have negative number, okay? So always be, and how I discovered, I knew, but I forgot in that moment because was holding. And was holding, it was not a big, if it was a big file, I could think that was searching, but it was not, you know? So always when you use this special character, always doubting what you are doing, okay? And see if could be a potential mistake. And in this case, in the Bash language, to changing the behavior of a special character is the backslash quotation. Is also called, in jargon, you have to say, you have to escape the character. When they say escape the character, you use the backslash. Okay. Yeah, very good, this question. So they are really open the floor to potential. Okay. Okay, so if you don't have any more question, we can resume. And for people with issues with a virtual machine, before it was Komar, we can talk, ping me tomorrow morning, okay? And we can solve it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I will, as usual, I will post it, the video recording in the same web page, in the syllabus in 1 hour or so, okay? Same password, and I will also share the web page in Discord. Let's use Discord from now on, okay? So always check. Perfect. Okay, so stop.